Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. This is Isaac Kills, otherwise known as Nick. Today, we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai, and this is a series that's on a Netflix. And I actually never watched this series before. I think the series came out, looks like back in 2018. And yeah, I wish I got into it in 2018. Although I did enjoy binge watching one season 1 through 5 in a week. I watched all 5 seasons. Probably could have watched it a little bit sooner, obviously, but had had worked, had to go to work. If I didn't have to go to work, probably could have finished it in maybe 3 days. But I enjoyed every season. I didn't there to me, anyways. There was no bad season. Every season was consistently good. Um, you know, when they bring back old movies or TV shows that was popular back in the day, they usually kind of, make the older characters look stupid in order to make the new characters, or boost up the new characters. This show respected the source material. It respected the previous movies. It respected all the, older characters and the new characters and the OG characters are all main characters. Like they all are very well done, and all the actors did very well with the roles. Especially, I love seeing Ralph Macchiano in on the screen again, and then William is how you say his name, Zabka. I think it's Zabka. He does fantastic in his role. He really kind of steals the show every time he's on the screen. The dialogue in this series is excellent. This is the type of dialogue you used to get, like back in the late '90s, early '90s, even early 2000s. Before everything got censored. Um, Definitely a lot of laughs because of the dialogue that Johnny uses, Johnny Lawrence. Um, each character progresses through the series as well. They don't lose who they are. I mean, they kind of change sometimes, obviously, because in life, people do change, but it kind of tells you why they're changing and why they're changing back. Like there's a character that's called Hawk. Eli, I'm not gonna even try to mispronounce his last name, but his name is Eli, otherwise known as Hawk. And his arc in this series has been fantastic. And he's also a very talented martial artist. And you kind of saw that progression because he wasn't, as good before, but now he has like fantastic form. And, I've studied, Hapkido for about a year and a half and Jiu Jitsu for about a year and a half. And I also took karate as a kid. And you can see these kids progression as the show progresses, like their skill in martial arts and their skill as actors are progressing at the same pace. As skillful as they're getting in martial arts, they're getting as actors, and it was interesting to see that dynamic as the series progressed. um you know Ralph Macchiano's character, which is Daniel LaRusso, he plays a successful, car salesman that owns his own business. Started off as a, low car salesman and rise up to own his own car dealership. And his dealership, is doing excellent. The first season kind of portrays them not really having any problems, having kind of like the perfect life. And all of a sudden, they see a Cobra Kai dojo being opened, and that's when we pretty much get introduced to Johnny Lawrence. I mean, we get introduced to Johnny Lawrence first, in the first two, the first start of the series is the first episode, the first minute. And he's kind of been down and out. He's living in an apartment, at a dead end job. You know, kind of depressed about the past. Um, and he kind of meets this neighbor, Miguel, and he one day Miguel gets in trouble and he sees that he's getting bullied and he steps in and he uses his martial arts to protect him. And the next day, Miguel kind of wants or asks Johnny to teach him martial arts and actually suggests that he opens a dojo, and which he does. Eventually he comes up with a bright idea to do it after his father-in-law pays him a visit, offers him some money, kind of saying, if you take this, I don't want nothing else to deal with you type of deal. So kind of a prick, doesn't really love him, but feels some type of responsibility because I guess he really did love his mother. So he ultimately takes it, but later on in the series, he pays him back, which kind of was a big growth moment for him. And he opens up his dojo. Miguel ends up being his first student, and Miguel, he was getting picked on in high school, which this series hits home a lot, and for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people that got picked on in high school. There's a lot of people that deal with a lot of issues, especially as adults, that Johnny deals with, and then also later on that Daniel deals with. So you feel the heart in this series, like the people who are the writers, and then also who is producing and directing the series loves the source material, loves the movies from the past, and doesn't stray from the characters and who these characters are, and how Daniel felt about Mr. Miyagi. And you kind of see Daniel and Johnny's characters over the seasons. Obviously they butt heads. They get in competitions where his martial arts studio is fighting against you know Daniel's martial arts studio. And at first, Daniel takes on his first student, which happens to be the son of Johnny, just kind of like almost like a revenge. Like his son is just doing it because he went to visit his dad because his dad opened up a dojo and he noticed that he was giving a gi to Miguel because he, stopped being picked on basically and stood up for himself and got filmed, defending himself against like 5 or 6 school bullies that ultimately gave Johnny a lot of students and helped Johnny out as well. But his son kind of, you know, joined with, Daniel LaRusso's car dealership as a job and then got close to him and basically became his first student. And they entered into the competition that, the under 18 Valley Karate competition. And he was actually second place, but ultimately Miguel won. And that's where the season one kind of, took place. And you saw that, drama. I mean, season one is good by itself, but it did establish all that drama and relationship to keep going, and it does. And season two got better, season three got better, and on and on. In this last season, it introduced, what's his name, Chosen, which is Yoji Ukimoto, which I think was Karate Kid 2 when he went to Japan, and he was the main antagonist. And I love how they treat the characters from the past. Like even Elizabeth Sue's character came back. You had that Silver guy, Terry Silver came back, and obviously John Cleese, and all these characters did so good in the roles, and they bounced off each other like they didn't miss a beat from the 80s. But like each character has growth as well. Like I said, Hawk, he was like basically a nerd that got picked on, right, and that get picked on by bullies, to being the bully and taking on what he thought were nerds, to becoming, realizing what he's doing is wrong, losing himself, and then figuring out himself and winning a karate competition, and he's just basically a side character, and then Miguel's growth, from first being the first one to win a karate competition of the series, to letting his buddy Eli, basically get the spot over him so he can win or have a chance to win the next karate competition, which he actually did. And then Robbie's character, which is Johnny's son, basically started off just mad and revenge and only doing things out of anger and only making decisions out of anger, which I can relate live with a lot, you know, um, in my youth. And then kind of growing from that and, building that relationship with his father, that he originally hated and then ended up respecting. And then, the person that he thought that his father replaced him as a son, Miguel, ends up being, now a close friend of his and understanding and having a relationship together as brothers. I mean, this show does so many things right, you know. I mean, obviously, there's some ways the fights happen that are corny, just typical, like, oh, you step in my shoe, let's fight, that kind of thing that happens throughout the series. But it's like that suspension of disbelief you're willing to do more than once for the sake of how good the show is on every other aspect. The fight scenes, in the beginning are a little sketchy, you know, um, but as the series progresses, it gets better and better and better. Just like the kid actors, all, the actors at first, were okay. And then now, they're all settled into their characters and they're so much better in their roles. And you see their progression throughout the series, which is great to see. The person who plays Robbie with his whole character arc, um, at the end, ultimately realizing that anger is not the right way to live your life. And just, instead of making your decisions solely based on anger and making your decisions based on, not only being satisfied with yourself, but then also realizing that being angry at the people you love is ultimately just going to make you lonely, right? And when he accepted that, he got closer with his father. He got closer with his, people around him. It's still out in the open what's going to happen with him and Tori, but his character growth has been really, good as far as, a writing aspect. And Miguel as well, with him trying to find his father and realizing that, what's in front of him is more important than finding somebody that, from what it looks like, doesn't really care for him. And then Johnny, being, you know, punch first, ask questions later type of guy, to like really hating Daniel to now, respecting him and seeing eye to eye. And it was interesting to see their characters interact with each other the last 5 seasons, from really hating each other to now working with each other, and how they worked together to take down Terry Silver, even though it was very unorganized and they did it drunkenly, which I loved. It was a hilarious scene. And I, like I said, I really love the character, chosen. Like, he did such a good job, as a character, and I loved, his growth. Throughout, I mean, he's always been a good guy in the series. Like, he's never been like a bad guy. Like, some, of the characters in the series, like the younger characters. But all the way through, every time he was on screen, I enjoyed it. It was just a joy to watch. Terry Silver, as far as a bad guy, was very intimidating. I mean, from his age, he was still very good, in all the fight scene he was in. He was very good at his kicks, in really good form. Like, he didn't drop a beat from back in the day. So I hope we get to see more of him. John Cleese, however, at the end of, I think, season 5, we see him escape from jail. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with his character. And he had some interesting story and backstory, throughout, I think, season 4 and 5, where they showed a lot of his Vietnam past and how him and Terry were being captured and how they fought out, or sorry, how they escaped basically. And John Cleese basically had to kill his captain because his captain kind of went crazy, tried to kill him. So, he took him out. But I loved everything about the series. Even Samantha, the daughter of Daniel, from her, being kind of popular in the beginning of season one to being unpopular and being the one picked on, and then rising from that to winning a karate competition, and we're seeing that character growth now, and seeing the relationship in school, not really abiding by the normal hierarchy of popularity. That kind of stuff doesn't matter. She's kind of hanging out who she likes, not just based on politics, basically, how usually high school is. So you saw her character growth, and I'm interested in seeing because like right now, her and Mikhail are kind of on the fence. I think it looks like they might be getting back together, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the storylines and how each character becomes bad, like Terry Silver's character, how he became like full on evil was kind of well done and well portrayed as a writing standpoint, and how it was portrayed on screen, like how he did as as an actor was very very well done. um I really enjoyed the series. Like, I'm actually going to be rewatching it again, and I might be doing like an actually season one review, season two review, kind of like a separated video per season. But I'm kind of debating on it because I don't know. Like, I feel like I pretty much could talk about it, hopefully, in one video, not go obviously in a play by play, but talk about each character, and how their kind of growth or grew throughout the series. Like even Anthony's character, the son of Daniel, you don't get to see much of him in season. I think there's one season where he pretty much wasn't there, but all of a sudden he became like tall and like skinnier and like older all of a sudden. But he kind of had an interesting arc too, where he wasn't a bully, but he kind of just kind of fell into social norm, I guess, like basically by social pressure, he became a bully, and then realized that it was wrong, apologized, and then became the one being bullied, and then you know found his answers by asking his father to start training him in martial arts like he did his sister. And I enjoyed that whole dynamic. Um, the person who plays Amanda, Courtney Henderler, um, gorgeous person, by the way. Her character is excellent. Every time she's on screen, she always has really good lines. She's very smart aleck, like smart ass. I love it. Because as a smart ass myself, I love, like the little quirky comments that she has. Um, so every time she's on screen, it's definitely a delight. Um, the person who played Tori Nichols, which is Peyton List, she was a very good addition. I think she came in like season three, and she has a very sad, background story where, her mom's sick, and I kind of relate because my mom, same way. She was very sick for a very long time, and I was very young at the same time, and it kind of brought back some memories. So I can kind of understand what that character was going through. It's very hard to deal with any family that's been sick or ill, and so you kind of rooting for her, and she wins the karate competition in one of the seasons, I think season four, and she realizes that she didn't really win. That Terry Silver paid the ref, which gave her a good call, and she battles that in the season five and struggles with that, and she wants to tell the truth because she wants to earn it. That's her character, she works hard, even though she has a tough background and she, is a very strong personality, she still wants to do what's right, and I love that about her. So she was a great character. Miguel's character, obviously, having a father that never was in the picture, And then finding a father figure um, within Johnny and seeing that dynamic on screen. And by the way, my dad before he passed away, God rest his soul, he uh he wanted me to watch this show, and I watched a few episodes with him, but I didn't really like it at first. But I gotta tell you, I wish I watched it with him because he really loved this whole show. I think he watched the first 3 seasons, and he was trying to get me into it like over and over again. I was like, I don't know if it's for me, but I really wish I did. It was really a delight, seeing Daniel LaRusso on screen again and Johnny Lawrence. And they had several times where they fought throughout the series. And it was really cool to see them work out their issues basically and become friends. I'm interested to see how that plays because, like, basically in season 5 is when they officially really earned the respect of each other and started working together to take out Terry Silver. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in season 6, and also what's going to happen with John Cleese's character who escaped prison. And I'm very invested to see what's going to happen with Miguel and Samantha if they're going to get back together. Same thing with Robbie and Tori's character. I just think they, you know, all should double date. And Hawk, I love Hawk's character. Um, he's not only a great actor, I just his martial arts is fantastic as well. Like he had a fight scene where he was fighting Robbie's character, and both of those characters like played off well with each other, and their choreograph in that fight scene was off the charts. They were very in tune with each other, very believable, up there with a lot of fight scenes from the old days, like Bruce Lee, John Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal type of fight scene. And you can tell how much more skilled they developed, by season 4 and 5. So the bullies in this series as well, even though they're bullies and they end up being dickheads and douchebags, they did really well. Like Kyler Park, he's been there since season 1, and now is like still a bully. So he hasn't really had any character development instead of being a bully. But they also introduced a new character named Kenny Payne, who was another excellent addition to the series. Who is a good guy. Started off as an innocent, good kid who just a gamer, but because he was being bullied by Daniel LaRusso's son, coincidentally, he learns martial arts and becomes a bully. And then by the end of season 5, because Robbie had been his mentor, by some damning evidence with Terry Silver's character, who was his sensei, he kind of sees the error of his ways. And I enjoyed, seeing his arc and interested to see what happens in series 6 because he just learned the error of his ways that he became the bully. And the actor did an excellent job in the character, and I enjoyed seeing every second of him on screen as well. And you can say that about a lot of characters in this series, like Dimitri. Um, him being afraid of everything at first, being very complaining about everything, and then now kind of like one of the best, out of the group as far as martial artists, and now brave, and who has now a beautiful girlfriend and very confident. So it's just a joy to see something I enjoyed so much and enjoyed so much watching. Um, I wish I got into this before my father passed because I understand why he got because he binged watched this, like the first 2 seasons, I think it was, in like maybe a day, maybe a day and a half. And I wish I got into it with him because I think we would have had a lot of fun reminiscing on the old movies and you know having those nostalgia together. But But yeah, guys, I mean that's my thoughts on the episode season 1 through 5. I know that wasn't like a play by play. In the series, they come up with reasons um, while they're in competition for the under 18 Valley tournaments, and I think they've done it only twice. And so far, Miguel was the winner of the first one, and then the second one it was Hawk for the male, and then Tori for the female. Um, and all the fight scenes, they even has some street fight scenes in the school, in the school, like locker rooms, and then also like the pool fight scene, and then also the ski. I think they were at the ski ring where they had a fight scene. So a lot of different fight scenes that were really great. I thought it was very entertaining and well done. And the earlier ones were a little bit, you can see they're kind of working out the kinks. But in later seasons, they did really, really, really good job with the fight choreograph. So I think you guys will like it. That's my initial thoughts on the whole seasons or series in a whole. Like I said, I might be doing a review on this per season, like season 1, season 2, season 3. But I don't know, maybe. I'm still thinking about it. But anyways, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one.